uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research was sift through the pit. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and stay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and tonight's show isn't what we originally planned, but what began as an organized multi-party debate over a set of alleged Bigfoot snow print photographs took a turn. I can't say it was unexpected. While this dispute runs around who actually took and who actually owns these controversial snow print images, most of the involved parties have declined to appear live and present their sides. The only person who has agreed to come on to the show tonight is researcher Brent Dill, the tall ones, who is here to publicly address and defend himself against accusations made by Jason B. Miller against his person and credibility. Even without the full panel, our goal remains the same: to examine the background of this dispute, to review what evidence exists, to understand the claims and counterclaims, and to maintain fairness, clarity, and accountability. We're not here to attack anyone. We're here to separate fact from assumption, evidence from rumor, and truth from accusation. So tonight we're moving forward with a modified format, focusing on what we can verify and giving Brent Dill the opportunity to respond directly to the claims made about him. So let's get right into it. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Brent on just like that. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. It actually got a little bit colder over here.
Yeah, it's getting cold here.
Leave today, and might be time to turn the air conditioner off finally. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Wow, you still have it on? Wow.
Yeah, I have it on the double setting, so it's half air conditioning, half heater. Because it's in the desert, that's what happens. It's super hot still in the daytime, but at night, then we are starting to drop now. So,
yeah, got to stay warm.
But welcome, everybody. I'm not going to go through the whole chat tonight, but thank you for coming and being here for this. So I believe to start off, we want to show you a video that's going to summarize everything that's been going on. Okay, it's what we're talking about, the whole Will Ulmer and Jason B. Miller controversy, if you want to call it that, about these images. And I'll show you those images and stuff, but I think we should go straight to your opening video there, Brent.
Yeah, it's about 14 minutes long or so. I try to condense it down, but I just wanted to articulate for anybody that's not familiar with what's going on. I just wanted to articulate it of everything, of all the facts of what's going into it and what's been done since Randy's 3 videos and stuff like that. So grab a sandwich, something.
Grab it. It's much easier because sometimes when you're doing the live, you forget things, or
exactly.
You don't have everything right in front of you. So we did it this way. Now we did it this way because we don't have the other part of the debate, right? We don't have Jason or Randy here to defend that part. Okay. So we're going to do it this way. And at any time, Randy, Will, or Jason, you want to jump in, unblock me, send me a message, and I will definitely shoot you a link to the show. Okay.
Well, Will doesn't have you blocked, but he's working today, so he can't even make the show right now. So
yeah,
it's a bummer. But yeah, Randy and Jason, feel free. I know you guys are lurking. This one's for you.
Here we go. I'm gonna put us back here.
Right there. So that was, this one here is the closest one to the shore. So the first thing I did was I grabbed a dollar bill and then my tape measure, and I photographed this first right foot.
So this track right here is that nice, really nice one. I thought there might be a hair on there, but it was a piece of tree moss. But you can see that I posted that on January 19th or January 20th, sorry. And you can see that Jason Miller there commented on the track. And he says, it looks like old man's beard moss to me. I shared your pics. Your pics right there. He's admitting that those are my pictures.
Yes, Will, you absolutely took those pictures. No doubt about it. Yes, Will, you absolutely took those pictures. No doubt about it.
All right, so I want to thank you for joining this discussion regarding hoaxing, those that speak up about it, and those trying to cover it up. Now, this entire situation has been buried underneath jokes, insults, side quests, and character attacks. But when you strip it all away, what's left is not complicated at all. Now, there's one core issue. Jason B. Miller used Will's 2014 photos and then publicly presented a backstory that the photos were his. So everything else Randy added, every detour, every insult, every friendship gone bad narrative functions like smoke in a room. It's to distract you from the obvious question: who took the photos and who claimed they did? And that's it. But before we get into it, let me address the question Randy keeps circling, and maybe you're wondering as well. Why did I get involved? Well, here's my answer. I got involved because what Randy was doing stopped being a discussion about evidence and turned into an attempt to damage someone's reputation in public without meeting the burden of proof, and doing it in a childish way. Now, if this had been a normal disagreement, two people arguing over interpretations, timelines, opinions, or whatever, I wouldn't even be here. But that's not what happened, is it, Randy? All right, so let's set a baseline for this discussion so there's no confusion. A baseline Randy himself helped set. The photos are Will's. Randy even admits the photos are Will's. So that's the baseline fact we have agreed on. These images existed in 2014, and that Will was able to prove that he took the photos. Now that matters because once that's true, the entire story gets incredibly simple. If the photos are Will's, then anyone else claiming to have taken them without clear proof has a big problem. Now, this is the part where it turns from sharing into misrepresentation. Jason, in an appearance on the Bigfoot Forensic podcast regarding snow prints, dated July 14th, 2025. Now, in that podcast, Jason confidently claimed that he was the one that took the photos and that was his tape measure in the photo. Now, let's be clear, and Randy, you might want to listen up for this one. Saying I had access to the photos is one thing. Saying I took the photos is another. Saying that's my tape measure is not an accident. It's a detail meant to anchor the story in reality. So now we have a collision between Jason and Randy's narratives. Randy admits the photos are Will's, but Jason has made authorship claims that place him behind the camera. Now, this is where a neutral investigator would stop the entire show right there and say, okay, that's a direct contradiction. We need clarification. We need proof. But Randy does the opposite. He moves around the core issue. He reframes it. He changes it to the discussion to Will's credibility, because addressing it in an honest way would force one of two things. Jason would have to admit that he falsely claimed authorship of the photos, or Randy admits his narrative collapsed and that Jason lied to him. So instead, the Bigfoot community gets a carefully managed alternative storyline thanks to Randy's so-called investigation. And let's talk about Randy's so-called investigation. It's built on claims without receipts. Randy presents a long chain of serious allegations, and he presents them like they're established fact, but shows no proof. Like Jason supposedly got a tip through Facebook Messenger about the prints by the lake. Jason supposedly told Will where the prints were. Will supposedly went out the next day and claim jumped. Will supposedly stole Jason's photos during a 3-hour meetup at Will's apartment. Will supposedly stole ammo from Jason. Okay, if any of these claims are true, then any real investigator can easily prove them. Show the messenger thread where Jason was told where the prints were. Show the message where Jason tells Will where the location of the prints are. Show the conversation about the apartment meetup being about the pictures and SD card. Show the accusation of Jason's theft happening back then in real time, not years later inside of Randy's narrative. But Randy shows none of it, and that's the fatal flaw. Because at this point, Randy isn't investigating, he's storytelling. Now, something that Randy did to help aid his storytelling was apply a double standard. Jason gets belief, Will gets suspicion. Now, this is one of the most obvious manipulation moves in the entire situation. When Jason says something, Randy treats it like it's credible by default. When Will says something, Randy treats it like it's suspect by default. Now, that's not neutral. That's not a fair process. That's what you call loyalty disguised as a fair process. And it gets worse, too. Randy just doesn't lean towards Jason. He tries to make the audience feel like it's even wrong to question him by trying to emotionally manipulate them. He builds Jason up with a character resume with how he's so disciplined, a family man, or he's always around quality people, ex-military, has good relationships. Randy himself saw quality research firsthand. Okay. Well, the thing is, none of that answers the actual question. Did Jason claim Will's photos as his own with a fake backstory? Because good people can still lie, smart people can still fabricate, experienced people can still misrepresent evidence. So character is not a substitute for proof. Another thing that Randy does is use classic distraction tactics to avoid the core contradiction. Instead of saying on the photo claim where the evidence is verifiable, Randy drags the audience into a swamp of side issues that has nothing to do with the core issue. He tries distracting the audience by making it about Will's personality, our alleged jealousy, friendship gone bad framing, drinking problem accusations. He even compared Will to Bill Cosby. And then Randy sends the audience to Doug Highcheck to see about suing Will for speaking up about Jason's hoax. Now, then Randy then goes on long tangents in his videos about how Will's not even a quality researcher, as if Randy even knows what that is. His so-called investigation is a sham. It's designed to protect his friend's hoax, and that's his strategy. And the thing is it works too, because it moves the audience away from the simple, devastating inconsistency towards a messy, emotional debate that can't cleanly be settled. And once you're in that mess, people stop asking, well, where's the receipts? They forget about the original issue and side with whomever is creating the narrative. Randy also uses the permission defense as a smokescreen. Randy tries to frame it like this. Well, Jason always had access. They were friends. Will never spoke up about it. Okay, so even if we pretend for just a moment that Will allowed Jason to use the photos, here's the problem. Access is not authorship. Permission to share is not permission to claim you took it. Silence is not consent to rewrite history. So what Randy is really doing here is trying to downgrade a serious claim, authorship fraud, into a softer, foggier narrative, like I was just sharing between two friends or a friendship gone bad narrative. And that only works if the audience forgets Jason's own words about who took the photos. Now, something to keep in mind, Randy is Jason's research partner, so he has a conflict of interest. Randy is not a detached journalist investigating a controversy. No, Randy is connected to Jason through research partnership and public association. Now, that means Randy has something at stake. Jason's credibility affects Randy's credibility. Jason's reputation affects Randy's reputation. If Jason is caught fabricating a backstory around someone else's photos, well, that raises a question about the integrity of their entire research ecosystem. So Randy does have a motive, not necessarily to lie, but to control damage and help cover up Jason's hoax. And when people have to do damage control, they do predictable things like they shift focus to the other person's character. Then they flood the story with side details that mean nothing to the core issue. All the while, Randy mocks and ridicules to keep the audience emotionally aligned. And all the while, Randy and Jason demanding trust from us while supplying no proof. Now, this is a failed investigation that shows us how far people will go to hoax and help cover it up. So if someone wants a clean summary, it's this. Randy called it an investigation, but he only provided narratives instead of evidence. He applies a double standard. He ignores the biggest contradiction and pivots to personal attacks when challenged. Now, that's not a failure because he missed something. That's a failure because the structure of his approach is not designed to find the truth. It's designed to defend a narrative built off of a hoax. All right, so let's land this plane with a question that we must ask ourselves now. How can we trust Randy and Jason after this? Because here's the real consequence, bigger than any one set of photos. After watching this unfold, we have to ask, if Jason will publicly claim, I took those photos, that's my tape measure, while the photos are acknowledged to be Will's, even by Randy himself, what else has Jason claimed that isn't his, or says happened but never did? Now, if Randy's willing to call this an investigation, but won't show the necessary proof, won't show screenshots, won't show documentation, and instead spends his time and energy mocking critics, manipulating his audience, and digging up old attacks that mean nothing to the core issue. And if the response to legitimate questions is not transparency, but deflection, character assassination, manipulation, and intimidation, I mean, how can we trust anything they've done up to this point? Because Bigfoot research, I mean, whether you think it's real, fake, or somewhere in between, has one currency, and that's credibility. And credibility is not a vibe, it's not charisma, it's not production value, it's receipts, it's honesty, it's accountability. And after this, I don't see any accountability from Randy and Jason. All I see is spin and manipulation. All right, so here's what I'm asking of you. Don't pick a side, pick a standard. If Jason's story are true, show the proof. If Randy's claims are true, show the screenshots. If Will stole anything, prove it, because at this point, we can't trust Jason's word with anything. Until then, based on what we've seen, trust is not owed. Trust is earned. Now, in reality, the best option for Jason truly was the simplest one, humility. Just come out and say, yeah, I used Will's photos and attached a story that wasn't true. That was wrong. But here's the thing, most people can forgive a mistake. What they struggle to forgive is the cover-up. Now, we're all human. We all screw up. I've certainly screwed up a lot too, and everyone watching this has. But that's not the real test. The real test happens after the mistake. Do you take accountability and start making it right? Or do you double down on an obvious lie and try to win with spin, character attacks, and distractions. And honestly, should be a reminder for us all, especially in this community, about the values that actually matter, which is honesty, transparency, accountability, and the willingness to correct the record when we're wrong. Because Bigfoot may be mysterious, but our integrity shouldn't be.
Oops. So,
Man, I hate washing myself.
so that's a lot of information. All right. A lot of stuff has happened in regards to this whole thing. And that's what we're going to try to address one step at a time. If you have questions, make sure you put those questions in caps so that I can save it and we can go back and address those questions. And I'm going to put us like this a little bit there. So let's start out the main players, okay? Because some of you may not even know who we're talking about, okay? Because I had never heard of Jason B. Miller. So he's done a lot of stuff. He's been on a lot of podcasts. He's been on Untold Radio. He's supposedly involved in LMS2 somehow. But I didn't know him. So that's him right there on the right. And it was Will Ulmer, who is Bigfoot of Stevens County. He is the one who took the photographs out on this lake, this little lake. So Will took those photos in, what was the actual, January 19th of 2014 was the original date that those photographs were taken. And we also have Randy. Okay, Randy came in to support Jason. Okay, so that's where Randy fits in. And but these are the photos that originally were posted. Okay, so you've got the original photo on the left there, and then later on Randy's podcast, Jason is claiming that he took those photos. So you can clearly see they're the same exact photo. Okay. And he has another one with even the ruler in there. And Brent made a comment about, saying that Jason has even said that the ruler was his, but it wasn't even his photo. It was Will's. So it's kind of cut and dry when it comes to the photo evidence. You can't say, no, this isn't that. It's exactly the same photos. So
yeah, and go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's something that I just also want to give both sides with. So, these are the photos in question. Jason or Will took them on January 19th, posted them on his Facebook page, January 20th. Jason even commented on the photos on January 20th, saying that they were his photos. But what Jason later claims, because it was on a Bigfoot Forensics podcast on July 14th, 2025, where Jason goes into, which we even have a clip of Jason going into saying how those were his prints, how he took the prints, how it was his ruler, how it was his dollar bill. So he's on record right there saying that those are his pictures. And Will came out with a video 4 months ago now, called Exposing a Lie, that said, no, actually, those aren't your pictures, those are mine, and here's the proof behind it. And then that's when Randy got involved, because apparently him and Randy started researching together in Washington State around that time when all this stuff came out, which Randy then, thinks that there's some sort of conspiracy behind it, which thinks, because Jason's getting so popular or whatever. But so Jason says that he learned of the prints that he found the prints himself and that he sent Will there. He said, so Jason said he went out there to the lake on January 18th, and he called Will, said, hey, man, I found these cool prints. Let's go out there together. And Will's like, yeah, man, let's do it. So this is according to Jason. No evidence, no proof. And then Will goes out there the 19th, and that's when Randy starts calling him a claim jumper, because Will was out there the 19th and then posted it on the 20th. And so Randy's whole thing is Jason's whole thing is that he was told to go there by a mysterious person that sent him a Facebook message, which should still be there, which there was no evidence, proof of it. So this mysterious person told Jason about the prints, said, hey man, just go out there. There's a mystery. There's something out there, blah, blah, blah. And so Jason's like, okay, I'll go out there. So Jason went out there on the 18th. Then again, that's when he went to go tell Will. And then, Will posted it on the 20th. And then on the 18th, Jason supposedly took pictures with a film camera, 2 cameras, and a GoPro with an SD card. And so later in the week, Will invited Jason over and to talk, and they were at Will's place for like 3 hours, right? But Randy is using that as the crux of, well, that's how Will stole the photos and SD card from Jason. That's why Jason has no evidence, which, let me get back to that one. And so that's why Jason has no proof of him being out there on the 18th, because according to Jason, Will stole it all. And Randy creates that narrative. He's like telling you, like, yeah, he stole it. And then he literally shows no proof of it. The only thing that he shows to validate Randy's claim of Jason's stuff getting stolen was a little line of Will saying, yeah, he came over to my house for 3 hours. And it's like, Randy's all like, well, what did they talk about for 3 hours? Was something important, a big find and stuff. And that's when Will apparently stole all this stuff, which is, none of it's true. Same with the ammo. It's like Jason accuses Will of, buying ammo from him and not giving it back to the cartridges and the case and stuff. And, saying, oh, well, that's theft right there, trying to really, talk bad about Will. But again, there's no evidence of that even. There's literally no evidence of anything. In all of Randy's 3 videos, 6 hours long, there's like zero evidence. And that's the thing that really, I don't know. It's like, I guess that's, and the thing is, the whole point of that for almost 6 hours of stuff was he was trying to flood the whole situation with stuff that has nothing to do with the core issue. He was trying to distract us all, everybody, from the core issue. That's why he's like attacking people personally, bringing everybody and their grandma into the situation. Literally everybody he's trying to get brought in, just to make it so confusing that people forget about the core question. Did Jason take Will's photos and claim it as his own with a fake backstory? And the answer is yes. It's yes. It's not up for debate. It's not like, hey, it might be. No, it's a definitive yes. The evidence is very, very much there. And so that pretty much sums it up. And so when Will came out with the evidence, that's when Randy decided to insert himself and do what he did, which was really, we shouldn't accept this type of investigation in the Bigfoot community. If you think it's real or not or whatever, we shouldn't accept this type of standard in the Bigfoot community. And, we should speak up when we see something so egregious happening, by somebody who is getting, has a reach out there. It's like, that's why I got involved. Cause it's like, man, dude, you're straight up lying and manipulating. There's like, I got 13 different examples of Randy lying and manipulating, or I should not say lying, but manipulating the audience into like his narrative forming storytelling is pretty much what he's all doing. And them not showing up tonight says everything. I mean, that says everything right there. And so
got different kind of backstories. We've got all kinds of screenshots of him trying to give the backstory to those photos and how he got them, and it's
But if you look
many
at those,
him
yeah,
talking to other people about it, and where's the other one? I think there's this one.
yeah. So Jason, in that one previous screenshot you had there, that's Jason trying to claim authorship of the actual photos themselves, saying that, oh yeah, I took them, they're mine. I even put my little name on them to like copyright them, because Will hasn't spoken up about Jason more and more claiming ownership of those photos. Because at the very beginning, Jason posted those photos and but never claimed ownership of it. And Will's like, oh yeah, thanks for posting those photos and sending some stuff out to the BFRO and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Right.
it's just Jason trying to, these screenshots here, you should pause them, or, if you're watching this later on, just pause and read. And yeah, you can see.
Steve just says, I just blew the lid off of this. I know who is telling the truth. Have the receipt. He has a receipt for something. And then he states that you are going, I guess we're going to enjoy this reveal. I guess that's going to be on the follow-up show. You guys are going to follow us over to Squatch DTV after this.
If that's not a good setup, I don't know what is.
The conversation will continue. Now, I have 50 slides of conversations, of screenshots from all over. Okay. I mean, I could just, oops, that's not working. Scroll through and briefly to show you that we have got conversations that were had over social media in front of everybody. Okay. So, but things got ugly immediately when Brent questioned, hey, those aren't your photos, those are Will's. And that started to come out, and Will put out his video exposing lies. That was the name of it.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of people did speak up underneath Randy's videos, but he deleted the comments. So, it's really censored there. So a lot of people spoke up about this. They just were censored by it. Yeah. And I just had the opportunity to be in a platform on Facebook that wasn't censored. And I'll be like, oh yeah, those definitely are not yours, buddy.
We ended up, you got blocked later. I got blocked later. It was actually, I was surprised I was even blocked at all by Randy. I was never friends with Jason, so it didn't even happen. I did send him a friend request, but I never got approved. So, I was gonna say, I forgot what I was leading into. After all this came out, and when people start making it personal instead of the actual thing that's happened, that's when things are even going sideways. And immediately they started trashing you and trying to discredit you, calling you all kinds of names. And he was calling you Brent Dill, for a while.
I know.
So I was like, oh my God, is anybody going to tell him it's not Brian? But it's kind of evident to me that Jason doesn't do a whole lot of computer stuff, or I don't think he's really into all that. And even his social Facebook and stuff, there's not a whole lot there, but I think that's the only platform he really has. I didn't see a whole lot on YouTube, nothing in the way of videos and stuff like that. Everything seemed to be posted on Facebook. Am I correct there?
For Jason, yeah, I think. Well, he has a Facebook page for his Bigfoot stuff.
So Jason, for some of you, he goes by Sasquatch Medic.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
he
didn't.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have any videos and stuff on his
Yeah.
channel. You know. And
So it's kind of weird.
so
How
I just wanted to answer Angie's question real quick. There was no partnership, no agreement. There was no nothing. Even if there was, it doesn't give Jason the right to claim authorship of the photos and make a fake backstory for it. So even if there was a partnership agreement, which there was no proof of, and Will says there wasn't.
right? Let me go back here. Kaiju asked, did Jason ever film any actual footage of himself at the location of the prints?
Well, that's the thing. Will supposedly stole it all on the when Jason went over to Will's place on the 27th, I believe, of January. And that's why Randy says, or that's why Jason doesn't have any proof or evidence, because he said Will stole it all, which is also ironic too, because the video on Bigfoot forensics, actually even on Randy's video, Jason's presenting evidence he claimed he took out there when he was out there, and which would be weird to do. I mean, that wouldn't be possible if Will stole all of his evidence. So it's like that should have been a key red flag for Randy right there, but kind of went over his head on that one.
Yeah, pretty much. It does speak a lot. I mean, it's just a conversation, and I was going to allow them to, say what they wanted to say to defend themselves. I think there just wasn't much to defend, actually.
I don't even, yeah,
they
I don't
weren't.
think
The only part they could have gone with is that there was a collaboration, and Will lied about it. That's the only way, the only avenue they had, right, is to say no. They were in collaboration. They'd gone there. They knew this area. They shared it, and they were going to share any evidence, investigation, research in that area as a team, and everything belonged as a mutual ownership. But that's not what happened. So, that's where it kind of takes a turn from there. And do we really even know that that's Bigfoot footprints? Now, there's the claim that the BFRO, let me find that one, the 12, that is 12.
While you're finding that, I'll go ahead and answer Real Cominid's question there. No, Jason got it from Will's Facebook page from January 20th, 2014. If you go on Will's Facebook page, that's when he first posted it there. In fact, if you've seen the video that I did, Jason even talks about how those are his prints as far as they're Will's prints. And so you have that even right there. So that's where Jason got the photos, was straight off the thing. And you can see Jason actually cropped the one photo that has the dollar bill in it, so you don't notice the corner that's smashed in, so or that's folded. So he did that intentionally, So he's taking steps to really solidify this hoax is what he's doing, and it is a hoax because that's just the definition of a hoax. It's being deceitful like this,
Right.
Yeah. Do you know?
It's manipulation. Now, how this happened in 2014 and then it comes back up in 2024, I think he thought the time that nobody was going to know or back check, or I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know, Jason's thought process, because he made some interesting mistakes afterwards. He did this first off, not thinking anybody would notice that they're actually the same picture. Literally, you can overlay it and they're the same picture. But he also was out there blasting around how I blocked him and how I was such a sissy for blocking him and stuff. And I'm like, and then he sends me the message showing how he's telling everybody how I blocked him. I'm like, dude, how did you send me the message then if I blocked you? And the other one is with that article. It's like, dude, it's obviously not me. Your post is still up, saying that it's verified that it's me, that I'm some I abuse women or something. And he's like, oh no, because we are, myself and others are like, yeah, dude, that's not him. That's, we've already looked into it. The last go around, it came up, and but Jason specifically wrote, no, it's verified. Like he said he verified that it was me. And it's like, well, okay, buddy. We're like, where's the proof? Where's the verification? And it's like that there's another like lie that's like so easily, they can easily prove wrong, because he doesn't obviously have the evidence of it. And it's just like, man, he makes these like really interesting mistakes that you like a 5-year-old would make almost, it's like the analogy I gave with the, getting caught with the hand in the cookie jar and you got the crumbs all over your face, it's like, that's literally what this is pretty much. It's embarrassing in a way.
Right. Because, he goes and he'll say stuff like Dill has faced significant personal controversies unrelated to Bigfoot hoaxing in rationalist and online communities. And he mentions less wrong. And we keep hearing about this less wrong. Okay.
So is that like a business or like a website or like?
I did a deep dive into Brent Dills, of all over the United States. And there's over 15 that I could see Brent Dills in the US, including there's, let me see if I can find him. There's this Burning Man camp, Brent Dill, who was a rapist. There was a lawyer in South Carolina, Brent Dill. There's all these different kinds. And I finally found the abuse in less wrong and rationalist community, which finally came up, so I knew that was the right where to go. And I read this whole long ass, stupid, didn't make sense article. This is the only paragraph in the whole thing that mentions Brent, and it says in 2018, 2 people.
And it's not me either, by the way.
Yeah. Who worked at CFAR. There's a bunch of acronyms they use. I don't know what they mean or what it's about. And it goes on and on about this guy. And the more I go, it leads to this picture of this guy right here. Okay. He actually, has 3 different places I found him: Idaho, New York, and Texas. And
I lived in Idaho.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh God, he's bald too. I'm like, we're gonna.
These are reading glasses too, by the
way. And I'm like, oh my God, he kind of looks like him, but we all know it's not Brent. But we had found him before because a couple years ago that happened again, where they were accusing you of this, and we found that guy was from Texas, and there was charges, and I think somebody a couple years ago tried to call the probation officer of this guy.
Oh yeah, I think I remember something like that.
Sad. That would be so sad that they were thinking they were calling on this Brent, right? And it was that Brent. I'm sure that was a hoot they were getting calls about. Anyway, so you have to do your due diligence when you're trying to claim, that who you're talking about, because there were many more that you can just search. There's a whole feed on Reddit, Brent Dill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was more stuff about that, but I couldn't link to. I even left a message saying you really should put a photo or where this person's from, because there's a lot of Brent Dills out there that that don't apply to this. and but I never got any response or anything. But yeah, it was the Brent Dill confessions.
Yeah.
If you
So
go and you look it up.
yeah, but the unfortunate thing is Jason B. Miller is claiming that he verified that it's all true, that it is 100% me. And that's the dangerous thing that really needs to be remembered from this, because, it can easily happen to anybody. And luckily we can easily prove it's not me. But, it's really getting to a point where, man, this is where we're at with Bigfoot research. When someone gets called out for hoaxing, we're going to just start they also call me a 2-time hoaxer too, which again, we're still waiting for the evidence on that bad boy. It's like, man, they're really digging deep, and Randy's just right there, supplying Jason all the help he needs and stuff, giving him the platform to, do all this. And, man, it's a very revealing thing, what they're doing, what Randy and Jason are doing, because it's so easily, disprovable, that, this is what people need to watch out for in this subject, this kind of deceit, manipulation, because it happens all the time on all different levels and stuff. We're just lucky we see it on this one. And the other thing is, I don't know if you guys caught this in Randy's second video, but he was sending people over to Doug Hychek to see about getting Will sued for bringing up Jason's hoax. Let that sink in right there, and he doesn't even get Doug Hychek's name right. But
I know you can't even say his name right. That was so weird too.
Yeah, that's wild that Randy feels entitled that he can try and get Will legally in trouble, which never will happen. But man, it just goes to show you the insanity that these two have, the lengths that they'll go to protect their hoax. And it's like, damn. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. But he was communicating with you at this time, so it's kind of hard to block you, and so
I know.
it doesn't make sense, right? We all know that if you block yourself on Facebook, then the messenger doesn't, you blocked yourself. So it would have to be that he would unblock and block to do that every time.
Oh, and I do want to bring up the whole stolen valor, because they use that as a big crutch of oh, he's such a bad guy. And I do want to apologize to Jason for my comment of questioning his military service. But you have to understand, that was in reference of my comment was do we even know if he was really in the Army? We might have a stolen valor situation here. Literally what my comment was. And that was in reference of him getting caught lying about the whole picture, this whole scandal thing. And so I do want to apologize to Jason, for that. But you also have to understand where that came from too, where it's it's not like I just pulled it out of my ass. It was in direct reference of this whole scandal that's going on. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Right. What am I looking at here? This is first Jason came at you and he listed himself as anonymous.
I know, that was weird. That was the weird thing is Jason's talking to me, then all of a sudden he starts posting as anonymous, and it's what? Because you have that option in Facebook, and it's that's weird. Okay. And then he starts talking about how he's 5 stars. He's rated 5 stars. It's okay, who rated you 5 stars? So he's 5 stars for 17 years is what he says. It's well, what happened before the 17 years? Or were you still 5 stars? Were you 4.5 or what? Who rates themselves though? And who uses that as a way for us to gauge, a person's character? First
Right.
I've ever seen something like that.
And then there was where the BFRO rated the track. I don't know how they can really do that off a photograph. Really, I think it'd be pretty much impossible to do.
Yeah, but this is in reference to how on the 27th here, Jason sent Will's picture to the BFRO, and this is another way of showing that in 2014, Jason even was acknowledging that that was solely Will's print. And you can see it says, the whole point is, thanks for sharing my footprint, or my find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glasses.
This one is another one where Will is stating that I found the tracks on Sunday, January 19th around 2 p.m. at Lake McDowell on the I can't read that.
The sanctuary.
The sanctuary, yeah.
But the important thing with that screenshot there is the very last line about Will acknowledging how Jason came over to his place for 3 hours. And that's where Randy is saying Will stole the photos, because according to Randy, and there's no evidence of this, it's just Randy's opinion, because he's a storyteller with this whole thing, that Will is going to use all of Jason's evidence that he collected on the 18th, because he was told by some anonymous Facebook person to go out there. So he went out there and took all this amazing pictures and videos and whatever. And then, that's when Will was supposed to go out the next day with somebody, claim jump, blah, blah, blah. But there on the 27th is when Jason supposedly took all that over to Will's house, and Will was supposed to make a video about this whole thing, because Randy's saying they were partners, they were friends, and, it's just a friendship gone bad thing. And but that's the whole important thing with that right there, because that's the only proof Randy shows about that whole thing, about that's his proof showing that Will stole Jason's evidence, is that right there, that one line, literally. And it's like, man, that's bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. Oops. And we just go down the line here of this happened to be from Northeast Washington, I guess, site. And it's just Jason trying to make more backstories, what it seems like to me about.
Yeah, this is when he's actually taking ownership of the prints. And this is dated 2024, so it's last year. And this all happened in 2014. But he's so confident now that he's now online saying, these are mine. These are my bad boys. This is the backstory even. And the backstory didn't happen until now.
Relic hominin. I was looking into Daisy in the Box today, and I am interested in your comment there. So I need to get with you with that. Anyway, to see involvement, I want to know more. Let's just say I want to know more about the hold on. I even wrote it down.
The walkie-talkie incident.
The walkie-talkie incident, the Daisy in the Box, and Quantra. And who were the 6 people supposedly? I don't know. That's a whole nother show probably there. So.
That's a rabbit hole is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's like a deep rabbit hole.
It is, and it's old. It's more old stuff, the whole Ed Smith stuff, but it would be a good one for DW to come on and do that one. Okay, so you had that one. Here's another one of Jason. Spring 2014, I was called out to check on tracks found in the cross-country skier. Backstory. They're trying to build backstory with that girl, Sarah Smith, and he's just talking about the stuff. Here's another one. Also, Jason talking about boy, it's hard to read these, even blown up over here. They were found at the sanctuary at McDowell Lake. Talking more about it. Let's see. We've got, I blew it up so I could read it. Nice. During my initial meeting with him on 12/14/2013, so this is the end of 2013, I mentioned my time in the Army and how well the weapons platform and I can offer my knowledge. And did this have to do anything with him and the ammo stuff?
Well, I think this kind of just is leaning towards he's just trying to establish like his version of facts. And I think because his whole thing is like, if you look at the thumbnails, I'll just go. I'll get on to that a little later. But yeah, from what I could tell, this is, hold on, let me read that. It looks like this is a recent post that Jason did trying to take ownership by creating the ownership of it. Like, oh yeah, I did this. And I know he was really, okay. So this is the one about the ammo. Okay. So so basically, Will was, and his buddies apparently were wanting to get into like, assault rifles and stuff like that. And so Jason's like, oh, hey, I know all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I can get you all this ammo, blah, blah, blah. And, but there's no evidence of it. What you just saw there was supposed to be the evidence, but it's evidence that was just made. So it's like, that's not evidence. You can't do that. It's like all of Jason's posts about the footprints. They're all like from last year. It's like, dude, you can't like rewrite history like that. So, and this here is the note that Jason left on Will's door, and Jason's like, oh yeah, I was there, and he was saying, please go away, because I heard him in there, and something I want to bring up is like their whole bravado, and the thumbnails really reflect it. You know how they're standing up there with their arms crossed, and then Will's kind of hunched down there in the middle. That's all manipulation, and that's their whole bravado that they have to. This whole thing is like they're trying to like, they really pump themselves up. Like they're really that insecure that they have to like pump themselves up the entire thing by us really talking great about themselves. And Jason, via Randy on his videos, was doing just that, which is pretty much, just really manipulating people into thinking they're the bigger, better people that you should listen to. And even look at Randy's last thumbnail too, of what is it, Atticus Finch, a highly respected lawyer, that you can trust and stuff. And that's what he's trying to instill with his video. And that's not the actual case. I mean, it's the polar opposite. So it's like, man, it's like everything that they do is for, is for their own self, whatever,
Right. So you have screenshots given to you by Will from Jason. So these are these next screenshots are Jason and Will talking back and forth. Okay. And I'm just briefly going to go through some of them because it's a lot, and tell me which ones you want to address, because this one, they start on December 3rd of 2013, and just talking, if interested in a face-to-face info share, my friends in the woods, you can contact me. And that's Jason telling Will, you can contact me. And
so if you just eventually show all the screenshots, and people can later on pause it and read it. But this is basically the whole relationship with Jason and Will, basically from start to beginning. And pay close attention around the 18th, 19th, 20th, when the whole event with the prints happened, which was actually the 20th or the 19th, January 19th, 2014. Those are the ones that you should really start noticing. And then afterwards, as far as stuff not being mentioned about the ammo or about the print or about the pictures and SD card, and why at the exact point in time when Will told Jason that he heard he was talking crap about him, and that's why he doesn't want to associate with him anymore. And so that's all in these screenshots here, which, you know, Randy had the same access to him because of Will, or because Jason has them, because he's talking to Jason, but apparently Jason left this part out because, well, it didn't help their narrative, really. And yeah, as far as Randy a hoaxer too, I would say yes. Yes, he is, because he is covering up a hoax. I mean, he either has to be the worst investigator on the planet, or he's intentionally covering up a hoax for his friend, his research partner, somebody that he's so associated with. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point, the evidence is pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Pretty clear. Everything else is just fluff. It really is just fluff. Even
to distract you.
Ulmer says over here, even if Jason did sell Will ammo and Will never returned the cartridges and ammo case, it has no bearing on who owned the photo Jason claimed as his own. So,
and Randy's investigation is a joke too. Like, that's a mockery of the whole thing. And the thing is, if you're going to ruin someone's reputation, Randy, you should. Where's the camera? If you're going to ruin someone's reputation, Randy, you should not make a joke about it. Don't mock it. You present it factually. Don't like bury it in like 6 hours of just bullshit, really, of nothing other than a narrative that you're creating out of like all these fragmented things that you're stitching together in order to create your narrative, with your storytelling. And your investigation is a complete joke. And you know, that's why I spoke up, and many other people. And you should really, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know where you can go from this.
So the trap line says, is there pictures of each channel having the same pictures on it? There is. Exposing the Lies will show you where Will had his pictures, and then when Jason went on Randy's channel, they showed the pictures on there, and then also on Jason's Facebook, right? Did he have
no? So Will has the pictures the original date, the original upload date to the world is January 20th on 2014 on Facebook, and then they made it into his video shortly thereafter, and then Jason downloaded the photos off Will's Facebook page, and that's when he started circulating them. He circulated them to the BFRO, and he also made a post because Jason later that summer created his own Bigfoot Facebook page, and that was one of his first posts. But even in that first post, Jason never claimed ownership of it. He was just saying, "Oh, look at these prints," and some other stuff about it, but never claimed ownership. It wasn't until here recently that he's starting to claim ownership, which it makes sense because, evidence is currency in this subject. So the more evidence you have, the more people will take you serious, the more likely you'll be in a documentary and get on more podcasts and all that stuff. And so I think Jason's just like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put my name on it, and Will never speaks up. And I'm pretty sure I can bully him, into silence and all that stuff, and intimidate him by going to his house multiple times after not wanting to talk to him and stuff. And
so Terry, it's my understanding that Will made his video making his statement about how those are my photos. Here's my proof that it's my photos and everything. Okay. And I think Will would have come on had we had Randy and Jason here, but he doesn't want to come on. He wants to give it to the Lord. Is that what he told you, Brent? Something like that?
Yeah. These type of discussions are difficult to have, and they're not for everybody. You got to be a certain breed to kind of do something like this, to have these conversations, to, really, take these type of stands. And, Will's working today, and, it's just kind of what it is. And either way, it's worth discussing because the more people should definitely know about this on the attempted character assassination that Randy tried to do. Because just think if nobody spoke up, just nobody would have spoke up, and Randy would have had this, like, Randy and Jason would have this clear path of just like continuing to lie, manipulate, bully, intimidate, and do what they do. And it just doesn't work that way.
Right. It doesn't. And so if we were to say, well, what remains, what else is there to discuss? And that discussion is clearly that you can't do that. You can't just back somebody who clearly took photos from somebody without giving them the credit. And I know in the past, I've not given credit to people sometimes when I use photos and stuff like that. And I try to do that, and it is hard, but I am not hiding that fact, and the fact is you need to come forward and say, oh, dang, yeah, that's not mine. I didn't do that. I'm using it. But which would have been so much easier, had Jason come forward and says, well, I thought we were in a collaboration, so I used it, and that would have been the end of the story pretty much, had he come forward immediately and said, we're working the same area. I thought we were, working together, sharing all of our data and pictures and videos. And
but
I did.
But that still doesn't give Jason the right to claim authorship of it and create a fake backstory, right. Say that's his tape measure and stuff.
Right. No, he kept doubling down, on that fact. So, what else?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty clear and simple. Randy added so much that could be discussed that it's like mind-numbing. Literally, it's mind-numbing. So, and that was the whole point. But breaking it all down to what the core issue is, you just saw what it's all about. The video at the very beginning of this really broke it all down, and so
I'm going to show another quick little snippet of some audios. So let me do that right now. Stop. And then we want to do... Oops.
It really is, Tristan, to claim those. It's like, because it's so easily provable. Like, yeah, those are obviously not yours. Like, you even crop that one photo so the dollar bill fold would be out. Weird.
All right. Okay, here we go. So here's this one.
A decade ago. Remember this guy?
Oh, hold on.
I believe we got something going on here. Kind of like what happened, a decade ago. Remember this guy? The nice Dr. Huxtable. Everybody just loved him. They even defended him because that's like who they thought he was. But it was a mask. He really was this guy here. You guys know the story.
So that's Randy's wonderful investigation.
I took from Will that shows that some...
What?
That's Randy comparing Will to Bill Cosby. It's like, oh, trying to kind of say, well, Will has a mask too because Bill Cosby did. It's like, man, of all the people, like, pick Bill Cosby, one of the worst imageries, and that's manipulation right there. That's intent, intentional.
Somebody might have a drinking problem, and I don't care if you drink. So don't be hitting me up on messages. I don't care. Drink all you want. But if you're going to use that in your character assassination, if you watch Will's video where he insinuated that Jason wanted to meet him up at a bar.
So I met Jason Miller somewhere around the fall of 2013, I believe. He contacted me, said he had a Sasquatch sighting. I met up with him at the Acorn Saloon, just a bar here in town. We had a couple drinks, and he shared his story with me. And after that, we corresponded back and forth for a
and and then he let people make comments after his video where, well, let me share a comment. I encourage you to go over and watch Will's video exposing a liar before coming back and watching mine, because I want you to see the details that we're going to be bringing up. But these are the kind of comments that he allows to go on his on the comments from the video, because he created a storm that he wanted Jason to look like a bad guy. So these kind of comments he's going to let slide. So that's why I'm going to post these pictures. If he is going to insinuate that Jason has a drinking problem, well, I'm going to show pictures to show different.
Pause it right there real quick.
Okay.
That's pretty big right there. So, that's Randy's justification with his investigation of why he thinks it's okay to basically call Will an alcoholic. It's basically what he's doing. And then go on Will's personal Facebook page and download photos of him with like a drink in hand. Like, that's kind of creepy. But not only that, and he's doing it all because he thinks Will is trying to insinuate Jason has a drinking problem because of one comment that someone made that was like, really? Like, that's why you went on this whole crusade of, trying to make Will seem like an alcoholic, is because you thought that Will was trying to do it. And we just saw what Randy's justification of it was, and it's not. Will, when he brought it up, hadn't said nothing about, like, there was no insinuation. It was just like, it was just a comment. It was just what he was saying. And, yeah. So anyways, we'll keep going.
Some Florida friends of Jason's came up. He knew that Will would buddy up to him when they went to a conference up in Medellin Falls or something like that. So Jason dropped a little nugget as an experiment just to see if what he knows happens with Will would turn out to be true. So he dropped a nugget telling them that Gypsy Meadows is a place they should go. He told that to the Florida people. And lo and behold, when they went to the Medellin Falls conference and Will saddled up with them, somehow they ended up at Gypsy Meadows. And the reason Jason gave them Gypsy Meadows, because he knew there was a lot of bear up there, and he knew that if Will went up there, he would turn a lot of bear activity into Bigfoot activity. And lo and behold, after that, what have we got? Six Gypsy Meadow videos from Will?
Yeah, go ahead and pause right there. Yeah, so that there kind of shows you Jason fabricating Bigfoot sightings at a location to go send another researcher there just to see if he would actually go there and make videos about it. That's what Jason does. It's like, man, that's kind of weird, that you do that. Like, that's not something you should do in this subject and still be considered to be taken serious,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, Blake, don't, no, man, that's creepy, dude. No, it's, don't try to like compare it to like some of the stuff that you're dealing with. But yeah, go ahead with the last one. The last one's a good one.
Okay.
Wow is all I can say. Why would he reach for a future project and just throw shade on a project that involves so many other people? And I would think that somebody may need to send this out to Doug Hajicek, because now we really do have an actionable offense. So maybe Will can be lucky enough to be involved in a lawsuit, only on the wrong side, because now you're throwing shade on something that is out to make money, that they've been working on for years and putting a lot of money and effort into it, and it's going to be coming out. So somebody send this to Doug Hajicek. Let's see if he wouldn't be interested in slapping a little something on Will. Yeah. Hey, there's so much.
So creepy.
That laugh is creepy, but so that there is pretty self-evident that he wants people to go contact Doug to try and maybe get Doug to do a lawsuit, so it will silence Will about Jason's hoax and stuff. And it's like, wow. It's like, wow, okay, that's where Randy's at with his mindset. He wants to take it to real life and all this stuff, and he offered zero proof. Like, there's zero proof. literally Randy's videos we're supposed to take Jason's word for it. Like,
Right.
no, no.
Right. There's no chance of this being any kind of miscommunication. There's no chance of file mixing. There's no chance of accidental duplication. It's just not. It's not one of those, where a mistake like that could happen to backtrack out of. It's blatant taking of somebody else's material, data, photo, and creating backstories. And that's just wrong.
Yeah, and something else I want to bring up too is what Randy does. Like, so a lot of people have been contacting Randy like, hey man, you're actually on the wrong side of this. Especially with Randy's approach, how he made a mockery of this whole thing. So Jonathan Brown called Randy and to like say, man, you're really wrong about this. You should, Will's not who you think he is and who you're trying to present him to be. And so Randy was secretly recording Jason or recording Jonathan Brown, which is legal in his country or in his state. But the fact that he was doing it, like riling him up and then telling him at the end, oh yeah, man, I got you recorded. Like, you're on recording, by the way. And then, trying to spin this whole narrative of making Jonathan look bad for, some of the things that he was saying and stuff. And it's like, that first off, I would have said the same exact stuff. In fact, I'd probably be a lot worse. And, I would definitely be a lot worse than Jonathan was. But, that there kind of goes to show you his tactics. He will secretly record people just so he can use it as cannon fodder for later on in his videos. So if you do deal with Randy personally, just be mindful that he's going to record you, and he's going to use your messages too, your Facebook Messenger photo conversation too.
He's going to get it just like we get it. Everybody has the same opportunities here. You put something out there in the internet, it doesn't just disappear. It's out there forever and you can find it. There are ways of finding things. So as you see that people make comments and then they go quick and delete and, try to do the dirty delete, and you never know when people have that. Curtis says, Will never went to Gypsy Meadows until invited by Jonathan and Sarah Brown in 2024. The Browns were going to interview me and my friend about experiences we had at Gypsy Meadows and invited Will. And then says that the Browns invited Will because he was a local investigator. They did it out of courtesy. If Jason told him about Gypsy Meadows, he never went there off of Jason's recommendations. That's good information right there.
Yeah, and a lot of people were giving good information to Randy in the comment section underneath his video and in private messages, but he deleted them all. And that goes to show you that Randy isn't running a honest investigation. It's a flawed investigation with severe biases towards his research partner. And so for him to say that it's a legitimate research or investigation that he's doing, it's not. It's a huge conflict of interest for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you're talking about Sasquatch Wizard, he's in New York.
And Jonathan Brown's in Washington.
Yeah.
Actually just saw him at the Sasquatch Summit.
Let's see, what was the other one? Nothing to even compare with this. So bad. Yes, things are bad. Is that it? Oh, there was another question from way back. Oh, not a question. I was just going to throw this up here that Harrington has jumped claims and tried really hard to get into other researchers' areas. He goes into mine all the time. That's it's DW there.
He's going back into, Randy made a post where he's going back into the 400 because he's now starting to doubt Shane's, claims and stuff. And so Randy, one of the things that Randy likes to do is he likes to talk shit about people behind their back, and in some ways that he doesn't name them, so it doesn't like lead to bigger issues, which this time it did. But yeah, so he was talking like so vaguely about Shane and the 400, and it's like, man, are they hoaxing there? Like, was there hoaxing? Is that what it was? And so Randy reached out and told me, it was like, no, there actually wasn't any hoaxing going on. It was that Shane supposedly withheld money from Randy from like a documentary work.
Sorry.
Shane made amends though, and I guess apparently paid him. And of course, this is all according to Randy. But apparently Randy's still upset about it, where he makes like a lot of these posts that are like really fishing for sympathy and attention of like, oh, I was so wrong, and I was so wrong, and I was so hurt, and I thought he was my friend. And, it's just like something like a teenage girl would do or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, you can read it right here, straight from Randy. About
yeah,
that.
then he was like, oh, he thinks that me and DW were like conspiring together. It's like, what? Like, he's really like got some what do you call that, where it's like paranoia issues, where it's like he's like connects dots that are like, whoa, what? I don't even know how you connected that one. That's why I made this really cool meme of Randy, and I superimposed his head on this one person, that has like all those red strings on the wall. I thought that was a really good one. That was one of my better ones. It blended in just perfect.
Yeah. Randy recorded the phone call from Jason Brown illegally. From two-party to one-party state, the higher level of consent is needed. So he needed permission. It's eavesdropping.
Oh, jeez. Thank you for that info. Ouch. Yeah, yeah. It's just it was just a bad move on Randy. It just kind of shows you his character, like the things he's willing to do in order to, do what he wants, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Get rid of some of the stuff I have open. Make him a lag. Any other questions out there, you guys? We're probably going to bring it to a close here pretty soon.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's all pretty simple.
It is, because I know more about Randy than anyone else. What I could divulge would make him look like a narcissistic asshole. He really is. I'll say it. I'm reading it.
Yeah,
he's not liked very much, and
I found that out.
We know that from the whole bumping lake thing. We know that because he's skipped around to many different groups, and there always seems to be some kind of issues that come up. Whether it's his fault or not his fault, the issues still remain. So I won't get into those because I don't know all the facts to any of that stuff. But
like, we can literally go on for like another, I don't want to, but we can literally go on for like another hour with all the notes and stuff that I got of just the ridiculous stuff. But I just had to handpick like a dozen or so.
We had to tone it down, actually. Let me look at my notes. Okay, we talked about that. The bumping lake thing. I think you had it in the video, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Covered that.
Yeah, that's true, Tristan. Like, if somebody was like accusing me of like hoaxing or whatever, man, I'd be right there, man. Like, no problem. Name the day and time, I'm there. That's because I got nothing to hide.
What you hoaxed?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I think so. He's trying to associate me with the Matt Johnson. I don't know. I think it's the Matt Johnson hoax or something, or whatever that whole thing was. Which I don't know how he's tying it to me. But one that I think he's really trying to tie me to is the Lori Simmons Bigfoot tree hoax. And he's trying to say, oh, well, he should have easily figured out, basically, implying that I had something behind it and stuff. But it's like, no, dude, it's like a lot of Brian Sykes was even fooled by it. I mean, and he's a pretty smart, he was a smart dude. He was a scientist, like one of the world-leading geneticist and fooled pretty much a lot of people because of the way she was able to do the hoax. She kept people there for a short amount of time and then did a lot of manipulation behind the scenes.
Angie,
Yeah.
we don't know if Shane's a hoaxer or not a hoaxer. We're just
Randy is now starting to made a post a while ago. I have the screenshot of it. He wants to go back into the 400 because he's now questioning the prints and stuff. Because he also made another post that he deleted about how he took the prints to Meldrum and Meldrum saying, "No, they're not they're not Bigfoot. They're human." And so Randy was starting to like create questioning around Shane's research and his whole area. But that's what Shane does. It's like tries to knock down other researchers, by saying, "Oh, they're jealous" or whatever. And it's like, nah, no.
Hey, Thomas, good to see you in the chat. Brent did figure out what was going on with that silly tree story, and he did.
Yeah, I went back there. First off, I stayed away from it for a long time because she has a trail cam out there that she would anybody that went out there, she would get them on camera and be like, would either post it online, or I was like the 5th or 6th person that she crapped on online to try and keep people away from discovering her hoax and stuff. Like Adam was another one, and Rhett Mullins or not Mullins.
He doesn't own that area, isn't it? Right off of a public parking thing.
Yeah. It's actually it's actually incredibly remote in a campground that's not really open anymore. But yeah, it's down the main road, like 10 feet off the road to the right. And it's a badass tree. Not going to dismiss it. I mean, it's a badass tree that makes the coolest sounds on a windy day. Even showing the evidence and the proof, people still continue to go there and worship the tree as if there's a Bigfoot living underneath there. And it's like, that's adorable. So I really I'm cool with that. I love going there, seeing the apples and like little trinkets people leave. I'm actually going to leave a little fairy door on there. I'm going to put one on there.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, see what people think.
Those are definitely cute. I like those.
So yeah, Randy's evidence pretty much is, just trust me, bro. That's pretty much what it is. And Randy's and Jason's, yeah. And we showed nothing but proof and evidence the entire time. No personal attacks. I don't think so.
No, there's really no need to. It might have gotten a little crazy had they been here, tempers would have gone up, and Brent and I had already had a small conversation or texting about, I wasn't going to let him get carried away, and he gave me
I would
to mute him at any point in the conversation should it get out of hand, and I would have let them know too that it would have been both ways. Had they gone out of hand, I would have muted them and to calm things down, because when accusations start flying, tempers rise and words come out. So, which I don't have any issue with letting people say whatever they want to say, as long as it's pertains to the whole issue, not going into personal attacks and stuff, because there's no need for that. Really no need for that. So anyway, if there's not any more questions out there for Brent or I, now in the half hour, you're going to find us over at Squatch DTV with Steve and Chris. So go on over there and let's see what else Steve found. I'm curious to see what else has come up. It'll be interesting anyway. And talk a little more about some stuff. Even given the opportunity to go, opportunity to go at Brent 2B versus 1. They still sent a rain check. Speaks volumes. Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have been going against me. They would have been going against cold, hard facts that is very definitive. And I would not even want to go up against that. Like, how could they? Like, there's literally nothing they can do and say to come on that would change that right there, other than humility, apology, accountability, responsibility. That's what they could have done. That would have been the right move. But instead, they're going to triple down on this. And who knows what they're saying behind the scenes? I mean, who knows? But yeah, it's just, we learn about people. And like I said in the video, don't pick a team, don't pick a side. You should pick a standard and go by that standard. And we're showing a good standard to go by because we're backing everything up with evidence and proof. Unlike them, where it's just narrative.
Here's the standard right here. This is the standard. Stick to the facts and never deviate from the facts. That's what we all do. Thou shalt not hoax. Simple. It's very simple, huh, Thomas? So simple.
It is.
Well, I guess that's it. That's all she wrote for tonight. If there's no more questions, I don't think there is. I think we did it.
I think that's it.
That's it. So, y'all, thank you for coming and joining us tonight to have a little discussion about these photos. And we shall see you in about half an hour. Just head on over and we'll be there. Talk to you guys later. Thank you, Brent, again for coming. And I wonder if I should do my outro. Let me do this. I'm going to do this the right way.
Do it. You can do it.
I can do it. Hold on. So I wrote a little ending statement here. So tonight's investigation didn't unfold the way we initially intended, but it revealed something important about the Bigfoot community, that disputes escalate quickly, accusations spread even faster, and sometimes the people involved choose silence over conversation. We thank Brent Dill for being the only participant willing to come on and speak for himself. Whether you agree with him or not, it takes integrity to show up when your name is being challenged publicly. As for the others involved in this dispute, the invitation remains open. If any party wishes to come forward in the future to present their timeline, their evidence, or their side of the story, Sasquatch Secrets will provide an equal platform. What we learned tonight is that transparency matters, communication matters, and no matter how complicated the situation gets, honesty and accountability will always help the community move forward. So thanks to everyone watching, commenting, and thinking critically. I encourage everybody to head over to Sasquatch DTV with Steve Coles and Chris, where we'll be continuing the conversation with them this evening. This is Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and I will see you in the next chat. Bye-bye. Maybe.